All right, Nick, we did it. 230 pounds to 205, dropping 25 pounds in 90 days. How do you feel about everything?
I feel great. Lighter. My clothes are fitting better. I feel like I got better strength in the gym, and overall, I feel like I built solid habits.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, we set our goal of 15 pounds in 90 days, but you exceeded that by 10 pounds. Were you kind of expecting that, or how do you feel about that?
No, I was just sticking to the program, and I was a little skeptical in the beginning, but as I started to see the weight drop, I knew that I could just keep going.
So the people watching kind of get an understanding of your story. Like, what was going on in your life before you joined the program?
Well, I was a college student and I weighed about 230 pounds, and I was still going to the gym consistently, but I didn't lose any weight. I was just gaining it. But once I made small decisions over time in my dieting and the way I trained through the Forge program, I was able to lose 25 pounds.
I know you mentioned before joining the weight that you were at. You kind of been at that weight for a while, and the weight that you're at now, you really haven't been there for, you said, since high school, right?
Yeah.
How would you say, like, during that time before joining the program, like, how would you say that being overweight or inconsistent kind of affected your confidence or daily life that you were living?
It affected my confidence socially. Like I don't want to take my shirt off at the pool or at the beach because I didn't like what I looked like.
And I guess in that time when we were kind of transitioning into the program, like, what made you actually realize that you wanted to make a change or needed to make a change?
Well, I was stuck at the same weight for a long time, and I my roommates, they're shredded, and I always wanted to be fit like that, so I wanted to started to slim down.
Yeah, for sure. And when it comes to joining the program, like, were you nervous or skeptical about anything at first?
Well, I didn't know maybe like all the favorite foods I'd like to eat. I didn't know if I was going to be able to eat them, or but it's all about eating stuff in moderation. Even if you eat sweets a little bit, you're not eating sweets all week and then your
Right.
weight goes up. But I guess just um, the meals and if it was really going to work.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned that you were before joining going to the gym consistently, but not really seeing results. Like, what were you actually doing at that time that you thought would see results, but you were kind of just staying stuck?
Well, I wasn't. I thought I was progressively overloading, but I was just kind of what I've been training like. So it wasn't as correct as I should have been doing. And then I was probably eating out of maintenance and not at a surplus. And when I was out that weight, so there was like maybe muscle being built, but there was no fat being lost. So I was just maintaining that weight for, I've never done a cut before. So I knew that the Forge program was going to be able to work.
Yeah. And how many years were you actually sitting at that weight for?
Probably consistently 220, 230, probably a year or two.
You can be honest, did you feel like your habits and your lifestyle like reflected the man that you knew God was calling you to be?
Well, I knew that I always live out my life for Jesus, but I knew I needed to make some changes because our body is a temple and it wasn't as healthy as it could have been. So I knew I needed to make a change in that way, and also just to get in the word more and starting to build like actionable steps to get to where I want to be. And even if it trickles down into, you know, my life with with Jesus, with my family, with struggling with lust, with just being in the present at the gym and being able to have great gym sessions and know, like, okay, I need to progressively overload correctly to see results.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you've grown so much, like not only physically, but I've seen the spiritual and mental growth in you during these 90 days and this time working together. But my question for you is like, when you're with your experience inside the program, like what was your experience like when you first got started?
Well, I would say Forge, even though it's a tight knit group of guys, you gain community and you have a great coach and a mentor that's you that can um, keep us on track and hopefully to see results.
Would you say there was a specific moment that you can maybe remember during your time in the program, maybe in the beginning stages, where there was just a moment that something clicked where you kind of knew that like this was going to work?
I think when I probably started to lose, I mean, even 5 pounds, it was great. I could never lose 5 pounds if I wanted to. And just staying, it was all about being consistent. And I know, like, in the first month or two, I was staying very consistent. Maybe one or two times I want to eat just whatever, but I stayed on course and I started to see the weight drop. So, yeah, I mean, I think when I started to lose 5 to 10 pounds, when I was eating just, very clean, very whole foods, I knew that that's when it clicked.
Yeah, for sure. And what would you say actually stood out to you about the coaching or the structure inside of the program?
Well, I would say it's Christ centered. I mean, you want to see us grow physically, but also as men of God. So just to have that spiritual aspect when there's coaching out there that might not have that. So that's what I love about the program.
Yeah, for sure. And I know you mentioned the habits you tried to form and the consistency you tried to really build. How would you say the program fit into your lifestyle compared to kind of what you were expecting?
I mean, I feel like I can mindfully know what I eat now. Even when I go out to a restaurant, I'm not going to order the burgers 7 days a week, or I don't order a lot of pizzas or pastas anymore because it's a lot of carbs or fats. So I try to stick to chicken or fish, or just trying to make mindful decisions and staying within my macros, but it's all about staying consistent.
Yeah, for sure. And how would you say the training and the activity also played a part in your lifestyle? For example, like the steps that we're hitting daily, the metrics that we were tracking for your workouts, like how did that actually fit into your lifestyle?
Well, when I shifted from trying to hit, a certain weight 3 times, or, 100, going up 150, 160, 180 in one machine, I felt like that was what I was doing in the beginning before Forge. And now I know that when I progressively overload, I hit 180 8 times twice. And I know that if I can do that, I can go up. And so I feel like I have a more structured and know why I need to train that certain way to build muscle and see results. Yeah, mindfully knowing, like, I need to hit 10,000 steps and or more, allowed my activity to go up.
Was it kind of difficult for you to really hit those 10,000 steps, or would you say it became like a habit of yours?
Well, in the beginning, I didn't really want to track my steps, but I knew that it helped me, you know, when I would go on a walk, or I still do, but I started to be able to, like, if I'm feeling anxious or and the emotional aspect of it, to just go on a walk and reset and be able to focus on what I needed to do next. So I was able to increase my activity that way as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that kind of ties into like I mentioned, the crazy and awesome results that we've seen from you in the past 90 days working together. I guess like what kind of results have you actually seen since joining?
The clothes that I thought I could never fit into again, they're loose now. Or the strength I have now, I thought I would. I thought, okay, we're working at it. We'll eventually get to that. When I was in Forge, I consistently was gaining strength in, all areas of my body. So that was a plus. And then just being able to feel healthier and seeing my sides slim down and seeing my muscles defined.
Yeah, for sure. And how would you say you feel now compared to when you actually started 90 days ago?
I mean, I could see a night and day, like in my sleep and my energy, in my even in my training sessions. I felt like I was always a strong person, but now I feel like I'm getting stronger even before. So that there's a night and day with just the obvious one is my gut. It's gotten slimmer. Just being able to know that there's hope for people who want to lose weight, and there's the right way of doing it and the wrong way of doing it, and we've seen results on Forge, so it's clearly the right way of doing it, and I was getting stronger. You'd always tell me the cut's working if you're getting stronger in the gym and you're still losing weight.
All right. Yeah. And that's exactly what we saw. Like throughout the entire week on average, you were basically progressing in your strength in the gym while losing the weight, which is an indicator that it is working, right? Instead of being in such a high deficit. Let's just say we could go back 90 days ago, right? When you first started. If we could go back and you had the opportunity to talk to yourself at 230 pounds, what would you actually say to that, Nicholas?
We're going to be able to do this. It's going to be frustrating at times, and sometimes you're just not going to want to do it, but you just need to be consistent these next 3 months, and you'll see a huge improvement.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's say someone else were interested in looking into joining the program. What would you say to someone who's on the fence about joining?
I would 100% say you should join because you won't regret it. You'll see, you have to trust the process, trust Anthony, trust his method, just being able to stay consistent and love Jesus and know that you have to trust the process.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, why do you think that this program, like everything included, worked for you when what you were doing previously wasn't really getting you results? Like, what do you think actually allowed you to see results?
Just making sure that I was set up properly with the right macros and being able to hit a certain amount of protein and carbs and fats to stay in a area where I was still gaining strength. And so in that aspect, that it was something that I needed to improve on, and also that it connects you to, it's not just all about fitness, it's about enriching and deepening your relationship with Jesus. So that's how Forge is different from all the other programs out there.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, painting the picture to before, right, 90 days ago, when you were kind of trying to do things on your own, right, trying to figure it out. You were in the gym, right? You were sort of conscious about eating and stuff. But what would you actually say to someone who is trying it on their own and can't really see results and thinks that they can just do it on their own?
And that was really hard for me, but sometimes we need others to help us to, in a business or in school, if we're struggling, or in our personal lives at the gym. We need others to help us, that those relationships that are rooted in Christ, that we can become better men of God. And sometimes it was really hard for me, but we need to make that change. If it's our health, we need to make that change, because you won't regret it.
I think a huge thing really is just the ability to learn from others, right? And be not only be held accountable, but the Bible talks about being humble and being open to learning from others. And you demonstrated that super well throughout this program. I know throughout times it can get kind of hard to kind of, be told what to do, right? From a coaching standpoint. But you were really receptive about that. And the more that you receive and the more that you're open to learning and the more that you're open to implementing, the more results you're able to see. And I think it's a perfect example of what we saw in your transformation so far.
Yeah, and I know that, like, the skills I've learned in the program, I'll be able to take it into my personal life, and just to keep building on what I've learned. It's going to become a lifestyle that you implement into your life. Even if you do the program for 3 months, these steps that you learn through working out, through the building your faith, through and staying within your macros, small steps over time will transform you into the person you want to be.
Yeah, definitely. And, we've seen so many different wins during your transformation, whether it's weight, whether it's clothes fitting differently, whether it's your habits. But if you had to choose one win that you're the most proud of with your time inside of the program, what would you say that'd be?
I spend more time with Jesus and in my Bible, and making intentional time with him. I mean,
Yeah.
I love losing the weight and love having clothes fit me, or going down a size in shirts, having a better relationship with Jesus.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it's the most foundational thing, right? The more that you are able to grow in your relationship with the Lord, the more that everything else becomes easier, right? Because the principles that we learn are rooted in Christ and in the Bible. And when we're able to apply those principles, they can be seen with self control, with the discipline, right? And acting out on those things when it comes to our physical health, treating our body as a temple of the Holy Spirit, and we're able to incorporate those habits to your daily life like you did, then we're able to see that outpour, that overflow of you just growing in your relationship with Christ. But I mean, it's been a super, super solid 90 days, and the results that you've seen have been super awesome. Like, I'm super proud of the work that you put in, all the efforts that you made, the waking up early, showing up to the gym every single day, and just the adversity that you may have faced throughout the different seasons in the past 90 days, but still pushing through. And I mean, being 25 pounds down is no milestone to take lightly. That's a huge thing when we set it at 15. But like I said, I'm just super proud of you, all the work you put in. I'm excited to see how much further you're able to take it.
Thank you. It was, you're a great coach and a great mentor, so thanks for helping me.
Of course.